We all can see what's happening. We all see what's going on. We all saw this. And nobody decided. See, your favorite rapper, they're not going to speak up. Your favorite singer, she doesn't care what's going on in DC because it's out of sight, out of mind. Me right now, if I was one of them kind of people, that's not going on outside my front door. That's not going on in my backyard. None of that is. I can, because I don't have to see it, it doesn't have to exist to me. But unfortunately, that's not how it is. Because with the advent of the internet, people are forcing you to see stuff. People are forcing you no more than when they were forcing you to see entertainment we didn't have no business being entertained by, but we were so sensationalized by the death, so sensationalized by the killing, so sensationalized by the gore, and it's not that we were looking at this and being like, oh man, this is great. It's just we couldn't believe it.
NAYIMEDWARD $ nigga. NAYIMED.
Welcome if you're new, welcome back if you're returning. My name is Nayim. I am your host, and today, before we dive deep and explore how entertainment played a pivotal role in the critical and dire situations that are currently going on in my backyard of Washington, D.C., and if you did not know, I am a current resident of Virginia, born, raised, and a native. Let me just give you a refresher if you've been here for a while and you've heard me say this, and if you are new, when we talk about these kind of things in relation to entertainment, I just want you to keep this in mind. I am a political atheist. I don't believe in the left. I don't believe in the right. I don't believe in the center. I am not a Democrat. I am not a Republican. I am not a Libertarian. I am not a Green Party. I am not an independent. I am nothing. All of this stuff to me is no different than Granny Smith and a Honeycrisp apple. These people are not fighting about whether they want to be apples or not. They're fighting about who's going to put you in the pie and hold the knife while they cut you. I also do not subscribe to the ideology of picking the lesser of two evils because I do not choose evil. I will not be expounding further on that. Now, I've been sitting on this for a couple days and I didn't really know how to approach it because it's just such a heavy and layered situation. And if you do not know, I'll just briefly explain that Washington, D.C. is currently under siege of the federal government. The president said Washington, D.C. is ugly, it's rampant with crime. There was this situation that they claim happened that somebody tried to carjack some type of federal worker or something like that. Let's just be honest, that's just really not nothing new. I've talked about the little Jap boys, whatever they calling themselves out here nowadays, stealing cars and taking them to the ports, because over here around any coast, we're all coastal. So they're stealing vehicles and taking them to the ports to be shipped overseas and stuff because people overseas are buying the stolen cars from over here. Surprise if you didn't know that. That's why the cars is being stolen and taken. They're not being chopped up and sold for parts. They're being shipped in the container. That's why nobody's ever able to find them. All these moving parts with crime and trying to kicking the homeless out. Not even trying. These things are happening now with the feds riding down the street on horses, on tanks, on trucks and stuff. It's just, these are scenes out of military movies. You know, I thought to myself, how do I even approach it? Then I thought about this. What I want you to do, you listening, you watching right now, I want you to pull up your last pay stub. And whether you do this or not, doesn't really matter to me, but I want to put this into perspective as to people pushing this fear-monger thing about you should stay in the house. You should run from the feds. You shouldn't have no weapons on you. You shouldn't be trying to protect yourself. So you should just go to work and go straight to the house. You shouldn't be having no fun and shouldn't be doing nothing outside of where you live at. I want you to look at your last pay stub, and I want you to look at how much you paid in tax. Look at all the income tax that comes out of your check before you get a say. Then I want you to look at how much tax is compounded just for you living your regular life. You pay taxes on your utilities, your lights, the gas in your house, the water in your house, All those you got to pay taxes on. Any other utilities you might have in your home, your apartment, your trailer. Don't matter to me. You're paying the tax on it. You pay taxes on the gas you put in your car. You pay taxes on the food you buy at the grocery store. You pay taxes on all consumer goods. You pay taxes on insurance policies. You pay local tax, you pay state tax, and you pay federal tax. And that's over 50% of the income you bring in that's supposed to be sustaining you to live your life. You go right back into the tax system before you can even do the things that you need to accommodate, before deductions, before any of all this other stuff. And the reason that I'm saying this and I'm bringing this up is because you don't tell me what to do. I'm not going to live in a police state where my home is my prison because people are pushing false narratives about what's really going on outside. I can tell you right now, whatever they're saying is not 100% true, but it ain't 100% false. I don't know if I put this on the channel or not, but the car stealing thing is real. I've got plenty of friends who've had their vehicles stolen. I've been in a situation where she's my wife, but my girlfriend, they broke her junk and they couldn't figure out how to cut the damn car on, so they couldn't ride off with it. But if they could have figured out how to get the car to turn on, they would have rolled off with it. People breaking into houses, senseless murders, all these things. And it's not just, a lot of the stuff that happens doesn't even make the news because the news is very fake. The news is very scripted. And we know that the news is there to push whatever narrative that the conglomerates and the government wants to push. The news might as well be a branch of the government because it is. What does this have to do with anything, Nayim? This has to do with it because for years, people have been crying out for the entertainment to change, for people to stop being pacified and lullabied. Is that what that is a word? I don't know if that's a word. People being lulled to sleep by the lowest form of entertainment that automatically sends their brain into a dream state. People have been begging people to change their lyrics, begging people to change their music. But it's hard to get your voice out there, and it's hard to push a movement and push people when you're fighting against the machine that is already setting up the play to even be put in a situation where a city can come under siege, a district if you want to be technical about it. Because make no mistake about this is coming to a city near you. It's coming to a city near all of us. Most people live in heavily populated areas in major cities. This is coming to you. How does the entertainment have to do with that? We can just cut it off. My thing is, you're outnumbered with the number of people that fed into the degeneracy culture, the number of people that fed into drill, fed into hoe culture, fed into prostitution, fed into selfishness culture, fed into the me, instead of saying, you know what, let's make a sacrifice so people can do what they want to do. They don't even put disclaimers on the stuff that they do. They just, oh, this is real. And I'm guilty of it too, because I come from the Jeezy era where I don't care about your entertainment if it's not something believable there. I'm not interested in being entertained. I like real stuff. No, I don't watch a lot of this stuff like baddies and all these weird shows. I don't watch any of that. But I know that it exists. And plenty of the people that I know it exists. And we haven't done anything to group up together and say that we should, we've said it a couple times, but a couple times is not enough when you have a constant barrage of the worst thing. See, you've never heard me say we should come together with everybody and we should link up and hold arms and kumbaya and stand as a wall. No, because when you are fighting people who are deliberately in a situation, like they put themselves in a situation where they're not interested in understanding you, they're not interested in changing. They look at it as the degeneracy that they're putting out into society is an opportunity for them to come up. Let's use rap as an example. We say, hey, children shouldn't be doing no drill music. We not this Chief Keef thing. It was fascinating when we saw it, but it wasn't fascinating like a meteorite hit and is radiating off and plants grow every time a piece fall on the earth. It wasn't that. It was fascinating till you couldn't believe what you were seeing. And that mentality spread. And when we said that mentality and the behavior is spread and it went unchecked, because that's how we even got to where we are in DC right now. We say, don't do that. You don't respect us saying, don't do that. You don't respect us saying we shouldn't be engaging in this. We shouldn't be rewarding this behavior. We shouldn't be giving these things attention. You call us haters because young people, young poor people, young broke people are in a situation where they're just trying to make money and come up. But now you're seeing that all the you just hating and you whatever. I don't even know. It's been so many. We've been berated with so many insults over the years for saying that if things don't change, we're going to end up right where we are right now in Washington, D.C. again, coming to a city near you because of the selfish people that now everybody want to boo-hoo cry because they can't believe that people are doing exactly what they said they were going to do. Because see, when we allowed drill, prostitution, degeneracy, childhood prostitution, childhood illiteracy, all the things that is wrong with society in general, when we allow these things to become and go and bloom and move unchecked, and we didn't just make these people get down or lay down, because that's the type of time that I'm on. I don't care how nobody feel about that either. When we allowed this stuff to just go and go and go, and we said, you know what, we're not going to fight that. We just going to let them kill themselves. We're just going to let them kill our community. Oh, we different than all of them, and we separate from all of them. But we are separate, but we didn't combat that with our own situations. You say you hate the Tyler Perry dress thing, but you don't go and make your own movies with your phone. You don't go and buy a camera and make your own plays. You say you hate Chief Keef, but you don't. And Chief Keef is just a euphemism for that kind of music for me. You don't go and prop up and push and pull good, positive things out so we can have some type of balance. We allowed this stuff to go and nobody was giving consequences. And now somebody else has had to step in and give the consequences. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's good. I think what's happening is very good because of our negligence. Our meaning the communities that we know we should be serving. They're going through DC right now. They're taking homeless people's belongings and they're throwing them in a concentration camp. And that's no different than you being locked in your house because you're scared, because any type of law enforcement can walk down the street and question you, can sexually assault your children by doing the stop and frisk, filling all on their private parts, filling all between their private parts. And there's nothing you can do about it, because when we tried to check you, you tried to kill us, you ran us away, and we said, you know what, it ain't worth running my blood pressure up. I'm just going to go and live over here where ain't nobody bothering us. The problem is they don't just stop with the people they can defeat. Because see, when you own and you control nothing, when you're in a situation where we try to tell you, get off the food stamps. And you know, we don't have the best messaging. I've never said that, but we don't have the best messaging. I never said that verbatim. I do not believe in the government taking care of me at all. It's my job to take care of me. It's my job to take care of my family. It's my job to take care of my community. I don't need government interference. They interfere enough by taking my taxes. Thousands a month in taxes. That's enough government interference for me. I'm good. But when we lax on one thing by just looking at the homeless situation, when we decide that we've got hundreds of dollars as a group, and I'm being realistic with the numbers, we have hundreds of extra dollars in our community, but we know that there's people sleeping out under tents who need mental health services, who need somewhere to stay, who need food. We won't take and say, you know what, let's invest in sending somebody to school so they can become this, so we can have them in our community, but we got to take care of them people. We don't do that. We all out for self. We don't we'll think, oh, I'm not giving them money for drugs. It's not just not. We don't even know how these people even end up there. So when you ignore one problem and the problems start to compound, so we ignore our homeless people and the government say, oh, they're ugly, get them out. They just take all their belongings, they throw them out, they put them in a concentration camp. They got you in your concentration camp, which is your house. You're under surveillance 24/7. You can't get off your phone. You don't care. That's all. They don't have to do anything. There's the only consequence you respect is coming from the oppressor, because you don't want to listen to nobody that look like you. You don't want to do the hard part and wean yourself off of the garbage. I always use this example. It's like eating chips for dinner. You ate food. It gave you something, but it's not going to give you no sustenance. When we allowed this stuff to just go and go and go, and we didn't do nothing, how are we surprised that we end up like this? And I just say we because, again, it's coming to a city near you. How you can't be surprised that something like this is going on. They said they were going to do this. You're not a victim. I don't think you're a victim. I'm just going to be honest. I think that when you've had people for decades saying this got to change, people from decades screaming at the top of the lungs that this is not okay, people for decades saying that, like, my thing is, we all can see what's happening. We all see what's going on. We all saw this. And nobody decided, see, your favorite rapper, they're not going to speak up. Your favorite singer, she doesn't care what's going on in DC because it's out of sight, out of mind. Me right now, if I was one of them kind of people, that's not going on outside my front door. That's not going on in my backyard. None of that is. I can, because I don't have to see it, it doesn't have to exist to me. But unfortunately, that's not how it is. Because with the advent of the internet, people are forcing you to see stuff. People are forcing you no more than when they were forcing you to see entertainment we didn't have no business being entertained by, but we were so sensationalized by the death, so sensationalized by the killing, so sensationalized by the gore, and it's not that we were looking at this and being like, oh man, this is great. It's just we couldn't believe it. It's no different at this point. I'm not shocked because you're going to learn one way or another. We say, get off of the welfare, get out of the system, get away from the government. You need to not use resources for people who are handicapped, for people who have mental disabilities, for people who are blind or deaf and need to be able to have discounted housing, discounted food, because they're not going to be able to function in society like a person with all of their senses. And we get nothing but pushback. And society rewards the degeneracy because that's the play to set you up to be under siege, to be under federal control. I'm not living my life like that. I don't care. I don't agree with it, but how many times it's time to put the belt to the ass, man. It is what it is. I don't cry when chickens come home to roost. Because what do people do? They brag about, as soon as you get into it with somebody, and now it's off of DC and on everybody. They brag about their murder rate. They brag about their whatever. They don't prop up people with the talent. They don't prop up people who are doing positive. They don't prop up good representatives of themselves. And if they do prop up good representatives of themselves, that person have had to walk on water and levitate off the ocean. And they will say that that person walked on water and levitated off the ocean because they didn't have a boat, or they couldn't drive or something. Yo, you levitated because you can't really walk like that. That's how the society is. I'm not shocked. I feel like everything, even going back to when music was infiltrated to become like when music became a sustainable economy on its own and one of the top exports of the United States. And I'm just talking about us. I believe that that is when all this started, and this is just one of the fruit off of the tree from the root problem that everybody is chasing something that this wasn't ever supposed to come down like this, and because it went unchecked for so long, it came like this. I'm not shocked. The shit they're saying is happening is happening. It's not all like I mean, look, I'm not gonna keep whatever. Like, okay. When you start respecting the people around you, and now you don't have no choice but to change, I hope you survive it. But until then, we just gonna all have to ride through it. And when they come marching down your street, you just remember what you cheered for. When they come marching down your street, you just remember what you condoned. You pay so much money for 911 and you're scared to use it if you need it. I'm telling you, man, you can't make this shit up. You cannot make this shit up.
NAYIMEDWARD $, nigga. NAYIMED.